As I said previously, this list is pretty heavy on luxury sedans, so it's no surprise that next up we have the 2005 Acura TL. With a Kelley Blue Book suggested retail of $9,981, it barely creeped into the list. But this is probably the most well-rounded vehicle I threw in here. It's a sporty luxury car, but its front-wheel drive with the torque steer and its stiffer suspension than that of the G35 make it really feel like that Japanese import it's derived from. Now it does have a smaller motor than the G35 at only a 3.2 liter, with only 270 horsepower comparatively, but it is lighter than the G35, which is definitely noticeable on the corners. And the 0 to 60 times are literally milliseconds apart. And not to mention its reliability, which is actually pretty stellar if maintained. So it really comes down to, between the G35 and the TL, which one is more visually appealing to you? Next up on the list we have the 2002 Jeep Wrangler SE. Now this is another one of those vehicles where, as I was writing it out, I was like, why the hell am I putting this on here? Because it's not in any way one of the best vehicles out there. But at a Kelley Blue Book suggested retail of $9,208, like the Mustang on paper, there's more reasons not to own it than there are to. Cars today are kind of like the horse to the cowboy back in the Wild West. And this Jeep is probably as close as you're gonna get to wandering the prairie with your steed like they did. The ride is more stiffer than a taxidermy mountain goat, and the wind and road noise is louder than a UPS truck with the door open, and it has a dashboard your grandma would consider outdated. But the Jeep Wrangler has had this legacy of being a true off-road vehicle. And on the hills it performs like that mountain goat before the stuffing. It looks industrial, and its whole simplicity gives you this ultimate driving experience like the Mustang. It's an all-around extremely fun vehicle to have if it's not going to be your daily commuter. Now, as you guys heard, the Jeep made the list because I got a soft spot for passionate people, and Jeep owners are about the most passionate out there. But if you want a little more technology and a little more softer ride, but also a compact SUV, I'd say go with the 05 RAV4. At a Kelley Blue Book suggested retail of $9,348, the 05 RAV4 is the perfect choice if you want a compact SUV that rides more like a car than the Wrangler. And with its 24 miles per gallon highway and standard four-wheel drive, I'd say this is the perfect urban family SUV. Its 2.4 liter four-cylinder puts out just 160 horsepower, but its lightweight and responsive steering make it at least a competitor for the CR-V, which you're not going to get in the same price bracket. Not to mention with the well laid out dash and masculine shape compared to the CR-V of the same year, it speaks out more like a true SUV and less like a soccer mom vehicle. Next up on the list we have the 2010 Kia Forte LX sedan. Now this was another one that while I was typing it out I was like, I'm gonna make some people mad with this. But at a suggested retail of $9,638, I hope after you hear this that you agree with me. Now it is the newest vehicle on this list, which means that even though it's a basic run-of-the-mill economy car, the youthful age comes into play with its standard features, like side curtain airbags and Bluetooth wireless for the MP3 stereo. Not to mention stability control, which back in 01 when that Mustang come out, that was just what people called Prozac. Kia's really been pushing its branding, trying to show that it's not that same car company that you used to be able to buy one, get one free. And with vehicles like the Optima and the K900, I am loving what Kia is doing. Now the Forte, for being a run-of-the-mill economy car, does look good. And with 160 horsepower, it's definitely a good option if you're looking in that market, but you want to be the black sheep and you don't want to go with the Corolla or the Civic. Next up on the list we have the 2007 GMC Sierra 1500 Extended Cab. At a KBB suggested RET of $9,418, I felt the need to throw a true American truck into the mix. And being as the GMC Sierra is just the knockoff of the Chevy Silverado, typically you can go a year newer and still get it for that lower price. Now this Sierra is basically a stripper model, other than the fact that it does have an extended cab, which means it only has the 4.3 V6 with under 200 horsepower. But it's still a newer generation truck and does look like it's worth more than the $9,400 price tag, especially when most brand new trucks are well into the 50s. Now it does tow 400 pounds less than my Ridgeline, or have four-wheel drive for the price, and it does have 50 horsepower less, but you get a full-size bed and the look of true American bankruptcy. All jokes aside though, it is a really good looking truck with a very reliable past. It's a vehicle that you can beat up and take pride in it when you do, because there's a reason why it's been around this long, and that's exactly what it's made for. Anyways guys, that is it for this one. Let me know down in the underpants bar what vehicles I missed and why I'm stupid for doing so. Click that subscribe button if you're enjoying what's happening in this little corner of the internet you found yourself in. I love you all. Deuces, kitties.